Es sind som puppy mills in Lancaster, PA, schaffen rescue minimum retired hunt, so sin na hammock kenna. So one of the regulations that dog breeders have to follow, according to this Amish guy I talked to here a while back, he said that they're only allowed 4 litters out of a female dog before they have to retire it. So they can't keep a dog indefinitely and just keep having more litters of puppies from it. But there's only like 2 in the community I was from, and there's 200 or 300 families there now. So I would say that's not a very high ratio of dog breeders. The Amish, generally, they're farmers. They're farmers, or they build things. Or they cut logs. They have furniture shops. They build furniture, or they build houses. They do construction. Or farming. Those were the 4 trades that were the most popular, in my community. But any kind of animal that there is a demand for, the Amish will probably raise it if there is a demand in that area. But there was not that much of a demand for dogs, I guess, at least not back in the day, because there was only one. Now I think there's like 2 that I know of for sure. And that, like I said, 200 or 300 people, that's a pretty good ratio. There were sheep farmers, goats, a lot of dairy farmers. Some guys raised horses. And like I said earlier, we got some puppies from farmers, but they were not, they didn't sell them to us. They were just giving them away because their dog wandered off and came back with a litter of puppies. Or she had a litter of puppies eventually, You all know how that works. So, it was one of those things that you just didn't see a lot of. And I hear about it everywhere, and I'm aware that there have been some cases of Amish people not taking care of their dogs that they were raising. And yes, that's tragic. But it just goes just like the horses and everything else. If they are raising dogs that are not healthy, they're not going to be able to get as much money for them. It always pays when you're farming to take good care of your animals. And, it just doesn't, there's no common sense in neglecting animals that you are raising to sell. At least that's not how my dad taught me. Now, there may be some Amish people that do that. But my dad taught me that, he didn't even let me, if I was in a hurry and I was like making the cows run to the barn so I could, start milking, so I could get going wherever I wanted to go, he'd yell at me. I remember one time I got a whooping because I made the cows run and he claimed they didn't give us much milk that night. So, he always made sure we were gentle with the animals. Väl har this been a puppy mill argument, hen. Oh, the infamous Amish puppy mills. According to Yoder, every Amish community has some. And if they get shut down, they just move them back into the woods. Because it's so convenient to go way back in the woods to feed your animals every morning and every night. I tell you. But no, seriously, I did not see a lot of puppy mills growing up. We had one Amish guy in my community that sold puppies. The rest of them were dairy farmers, or they were construction workers, or they had a sawmill, furniture shop. Puppy mills was not a thing that a lot of the Amish did around there. But there is one big puppy mill operation over there in my old neighborhood now, and I did talk to the guy not too long ago, and he said that they're inspected on a federal level. All of their puppies are raised or sold on contract with one of the big pet chains. I'm not sure which one. I think there's only one of the big 3 that gets puppies like that, and that's the one he sells to. He's not selling to other Amish people. They're all going to these English pet stores. Amish people don't even patronize those pet stores. He's not creating the demand for these puppies. The demand is there. He's supplying the demand, supplying demand. So I don't know why people give the Amish such a hard time for having puppy mills. Now, there are some horrible ones out there. There's actually a list of a horrible 100 puppy mills across the nation. There's a few Amish people on there. I'd say about 20 to 30 Amish people. And some of the penalties that they've gotten are the reason they're on the list. The one is they had a thin dog. that they had a dog that wasn't contained, and it got hit and killed on the road. The one dog had skin issues on another farm. And another one, the pens had a couple of too many pups in 2 of the pens. So like 4 too many pens or pups total. The one had foul odors and poor housekeeping. And another one that said the dogs were housed in hutches that weren't against regulations, so there was no penalty, but they were still on the list. But the inspector felt that they were uncomfortable. He didn't like the way they felt. And then some of the English people on this list, there's people that euthanize 20 or 30 dogs in a group because they were told that they had to send them to a rescue home and they didn't want to be bothered with it. Stuff like that. And you know, a lot of the Amish penalties on here are for like using their own care. Instead of having a vet for the dog, they just use homemade remedies and stuff like that.